Today, I'm gonna see if a board game can teach me to become rich. Last week, I did a review of Robert Kiyosaki's best-selling book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And needless to say, I found the advice bad. But to be fair to Robert, he says that the best way to learn isn't through reading books or going to school or getting a degree. It's through practicing and applying the principles he teaches in a setting that's closer to real life. Enter Cashflow the board game. Now you might think that Robert wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad and then developed this board game in order to help people apply those principles. But that's actually backwards. He made the board game first, and when it wasn't selling well, he wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad to sell the board game. Which, given that Rich Dad, Poor Dad has sold like 32 million copies and most people don't even know what cash flow is, seems like a smart move. So while I may not have been impressed with Rich Dad's advice, maybe cash flow will help me see the error of my ways. But I can't play this game alone. What do you think we're about to do?
Well, play a game.
Yes, but we're not just going to play a game, Hannah. This game is going to change your whole freaking life. All right?
All right.
What do you know about Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
I know absolutely nothing.
Hannah was the perfect candidate. She'd never been exposed to this beautiful man and his mind-bending ideas. But today, she was going to learn the Rich Dad way. This book is all about what the rich teach their kids, that the middle class and the poor don't teach their kids. And one of the things he says at the end of this book is that if you really want to learn, the best way to learn is through playing. And so then you need to go buy cash flow. You can buy this physical game. How much do you think this physical game costs?
I mean, I would hope like $20.
How about $100? But you can play it online for free, which is what we're going to do.
Oh, nice.
I explained to Hannah all about the rat race, how we're all just spinning on wheels, working for money, when we should be making money work for us. And this game was going to teach us how to escape. So the whole point of this game is you are going to be stuck in the rat race for the majority of the game. But when you become rich, you will enter the fast track. And the way you win this game is you either buy your dream. You're going to choose a dream at the beginning of the game. And if you buy that dream, you win. Or if you get $50,000 of passive income a month. That's how you win. According to Robert Kiyosaki, that's how you win at life. It's those two things. You buy the one thing you always wanted, because whatever you want is definitely something you can buy. Or you make $50,000 a month doing absolutely nothing.
Oh, for sure.
So those are your goals. So before we got started, I told her how Robert recommended we play this game. Step 1, find 1 to 5 other friends who are serious about becoming rich. So that's why I called you today. It's because I think you and I are actually all these other chuckleheads at YNAB. No clue. They just want to be spendful, but we're serious about becoming rich.
I am.
Yeah. Step 2, I love this step. Step 2, set aside 3 hours to play the game.
No.
Agree to play this game once a month for a year. For example, the third Saturday of every month from 9 a.m. to 12 noon.
Wow.
In case you don't know how scheduling works. Step 4, after the game is over, take a few minutes to discuss what each player is doing in real life. Now this is the crazy step. Are you ready? Step 5, this is in all caps. Now play for real. Once familiar with the game, then have each player put their real living expenses and income on the game cards and play the game again. See if that individual can actually get out of the rat race.
Ooh.
That's the idea, is like you basically plug your life into the game and see if you could get out of the rat race with what you have.
Okay.
But this game's not just about finance. It's also preparing us for important milestones in life. So there's a space on the game board called baby, and it's just you have a baby. So when you have a baby, it increases your expenses, but you're only allowed to have 3. The rule is like,
Oh.
if you have more than 3 kids, you're crazy. Like, that's enough kids. Like, you got to figure it out, man. Then there's tax audit. Land on tax audit and pay out 1/2 of your cash. You get a tax audit to see if you've paid all your taxes. And if you've paid all your taxes, then you shouldn't lose half of your wealth to a tax audit. So it's basically like, if the government figures out you've been doing tax fraud, and that half of your wealth comes from not paying taxes, then whoopsie doodles. This, dear viewer, is the rat race. This is where you are stuck for most of the game. There's all kinds of fun spaces. You can buy doodads. You can get deals. You can do charity, but it's optional. You can get paid. You can have a baby. There's also a space that just says downsized, which represents you losing your job. So you just lose a bunch of money and you have to pay. You have to skip 2 turns, I think. At the start, the game assigned us our dum-dum rat race careers. So Hannah, your career is an airline pilot.
I can't think of anything I would rank you less.
This is also a funny thing about the game. I'm a truck driver.
Oh,
So I make $1,600.
which is not that
So I
much
make
than
less. And then we had to pick our dream. The thing that would fulfill our deepest desires. And also win us the game.
Mini
Seals.
farm. I know what I want to do.
Are you
Mini
doing the
farm
farm?
in the city.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Ooh.
Oh, this is... Oh, uncover an ancient lost city?
I missed that.
Dude, that's my dream. Let's go. I want to find Atlantis. I want to be Milo Thatch from Disney's Atlantis. After choosing our dreams and experimenting with Cashflow's amazing camera controls, we did a walkthrough of the income sheet. So the way you get out of the rat race is by building up your passive income to be greater than your total expenses. So your total expenses right now are, mine are $950. Wouldn't that be great? So my total income is $1,600. My total expenses are $950. So my cash flow, what I receive on payday, is $650. So what you want to do, like if these are what my expenses stay, I want to get my passive income up to $950. So one thing you can actually do at the start of your turn is you can like pay off a loan. So you could like pay $4,000 to get rid of your car loan, but also you can borrow money so that you have more cash on hand. For Hannah's first turn, she was given the option of donating to charity, something that Robert assured in Rich Dad Poor Dad would actually make her richer. Somehow.
Well, here's the thing. I would feel bad if I didn't donate to charity.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll donate.
You can always borrow more money, you know?
The money you give comes back to you, then here we go.
Robert might have been onto something about charity always coming back to you, because Hannah would go on to take an early lead. Meanwhile, I was going to get a little bit greedy. Okay, so now I'm being offered a deal, so I can take a big deal or a small deal. Oh, bank. Oh, I could borrow money. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to borrow money. So you can borrow in increments of $1,000. So I'm going to borrow $5,000, which is going to cost me $500 every payday. So I'm going to take a small deal. The small deal wound up being a bit of a stinker, so I passed. And then Hannah walked into an opportunity of her own.
Record interest rates lead to substandard share price for this home technology company. Today's price, $5.
Yeah, dude.
Wow. I don't
up
know
to you.
anything
Up to
about the stock market or...
Well, this
money.
is why you need this game, Hannah, is we're learning. Do you feel the learning?
Yep.
But I didn't despair, because I was keeping my eyes peeled for opportunities. And opportunities, as Robert had taught me, were everywhere. Notice how much of this game, how much of the rat race is just deals?
Yeah, big and small
It's like
deals.
literally opportunity is everywhere. But despite all my rich dad knowledge and my higher financial intelligence, Hannah once again found a better opportunity.
$2,000 down payment, $43,000 mortgage. Cash flow positive.
Yeah.
I have money.
But that was okay, because I knew that if I kept my head down, kept my antennas up, and didn't give in to fear, something incredible would happen.
Yeah.
Oh no, did I just lose my job? Yep. But that was that was fine because the rich aren't afraid to fail. I figured Hannah's luck would run out and mine would start showing up. Just not for a while. Wait, is this the one you bought?
I don't know. I don't know how to tell. Okay.
I think you did.
Fast-growing seller of home technology. Oh, home technology.
Yeah, you have 20 shares. You could make bank right now.
So I can sell them for $20 each?
Yep. 4 times what you bought. That's how stocks work.
Whoa.
Finally, after waiting and waiting, opportunity came a-knocking. All right, give me a small deal, baby. Start a company part-time. Develop interesting idea for a software program. Okay, so I'm taking the Jesse Meekum approach.
Nice.
And then something unexpected happened. You had a baby! Oh my goodness, look at you.
How much did that cost me?
I think it's in Classic, I think it's $170. Oh, it's $110. What are you naming your little rat baby?
Sport. Come on.
Sport? And then I also had something unexpected happen. So a doodad is a term for anything that you spend money on that's going to cost you money. Doodad kind of implies like, oh, I bought like a new set of golf clubs or whatever. This one, unexpected car repairs.
I wouldn't call that a doodad.
Silly me, I'm always blowing my money on car repairs. I see something broken in my car and I just go, ooh, I gotta fix that puppy. Okay, I'm having a real rough time, but hopefully my interesting software idea comes through.
You have $90 in your pocket.
But this is okay, because fear is what keeps you poor, Hannah. The only reason anyone in the world is poor is because they're just afraid. So if I just choose to not be afraid, I will be great. Inspired by my own words, I decided I was done letting fear rule my actions. Okay, I'm gonna do something crazy. I'm gonna borrow $5,000, which is definitely gonna put me in debt. So now my monthly cash flow is a negative $350, but that's okay, because I'm about to make a good deal. Frick. Turns out that stock that Hannah had bought was popping even more at $40 a share. But that was fine.
I can sell it for $40 a thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
brother.
Lucky you, man.
Look at me.
But it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows for Hannah. Let's just say she got a little cocky.
Not a doodad. Must have new sunglasses. $80?
Yeah.
How, in what world are we paying $60?
You can buy $80 sunglasses. That's not hard to do. But it is kind of a reflection of like what rich dad thinks people are spending money on.
Yeah, $20,000 on a house and $80 on sunglasses.
But like, to be fair, right, to take off my rich dad hat and put on my special hat for a minute, like, you just made an incredible stock market day trading deal, and if you know,
I got the looks to prove it.
You feel good, yeah, you want to go buy, you know.
They were must-have sunglasses.
Those sunglasses would be a purchase she would wind up regretting.
Oh, no.
Did you downsize?
My company's been downsized.
Look at you, you goofball. Shouldn't have bought those flippin' sunglasses.
Yeah, well...
At this point, the game noticed I was over-leveraged, so it forced me to sell off my business to pay off some of my dets.
You have 2
This is the closest that they have had us do something that like we would actually recommend doing at YNAB. It was a bit of a rough economy after that, although we were getting mistaken for rich people. Water everywhere at your 8-plex. Broken sewer line needs repair immediately. If you own an 8-plex, take $2,000 for a new line. But what's really funny about this is I just imagine someone running up to me and being like, there's water everywhere in your 8-plex. And then I'm like, I don't own an 8-plex. And they're like, oh, sorry. Never mind. At this point, Hannah decided to buy
potentially a fuck ton
of mutual fund shares. And then I had a relatable millennial moment. House for sale. I can't afford the house. Available in a depressed market due to layoffs. This is also a kind of sad thing, is how often the good deals are someone else got screwed. So now you just get to do something cool for yourself.
That was a really good payoff price, though.
I know, it was. And then I made the worst financial decision of my life.
Fill the van.
Okay, this is kind of insulting, I feel like. Like, that the game, like, because, like, these are my expenses, right? Like, your expenses are taxes, paying all of your loans, and then just other expenses. So, like, first of all, this is my groceries. This is my gas. This is my insurance. Like, this is everything. And the implication is that nowhere in here do I do anything remotely nice for myself. So then when I buy a latte for me and a friend, it's just like, that is a seismic event and you should feel bad about it. Oh, well, man. If I wasn't buying so many more lattes, I could have bought a house. It's literally that in this game. I also think it's funny that, like, the numbers in this game are so insane. Like, your mortgage is like $30,000, but a latte is still $5 per person.
Yeah. That's what I was
It's like Starbucks do me crazy out here.
Not to brag, but I'm getting pretty rich over here.
But I knew just how to redeem my latte blunder.
I'm
100. I could borrow $1,000 and not go into the negative.
It's like your
Dave Ramsey, if you're watching, don't look. Okay, all right, yeah. I could buy an older house, repossessed by the government, so somebody got screwed. And I'll just buy it.
Down payment.
$220 in passive income. So I'm like getting closer.
This is a lot of opportunities. I don't think anyone.
Isn't it? Yeah,
I don't think I've run into any of these in my real life.
Well, and this is the thing. Like, one of the big things of Rich Dad Poor Dad is that, like, opportunities everywhere, and the poor and middle class just aren't looking. And it's like, okay, sure, but even like in these examples, how many people do you know have like $5,000 to just throw around to buy a house that has all kinds of expenses, you know? Like, that wouldn't then make you, oh, I got another doodad. What did I get? Dinner tickets and coffee.
Wow.
I love that coffee's just catching strays left and right. It's just like... This game was incredible and teaching me so much. But I still can resist sharing my favorite story from Rich Dad Poor Dad. And the story that he tells in this book is that he goes to Rich Dad to be like, hey, can you teach me how to make money? And he's like, yeah, you guys can work for me. I'll pay you 10 cents an hour. Which is like, first of all, child labor laws exist in the 1970s when this allegedly happened, which it probably didn't, but child labor laws exist. And 10 cents an hour, like the minimum wage at the time, I think was like 25 cents an hour. So like, basically, Robert gets exploited as a child wage slave. And then he's like, this isn't fair. I'm missing baseball games. I don't get to see my friends, and you're paying me basically nothing. He goes to Rich Dad. He's like, I'm going to quit. And he's like, you see, this is actually your first lesson, because what you're learning is that if you just learn to work for a living, then people will exploit you, like what I'm doing. So you should be rich so that you can exploit people instead.
Oh, no.
And then after that, he's like, oh, and by the way, I'm not going to pay you anything now. And that's like another like Yoda lesson. Okay. So I personally think that babies should add to your cash flow because they're basically free labor. But that's just me. Maybe that's in like the advanced version.
Do you want to hear something kind of sweet? When I first got married, or like maybe when we were dating, I don't know, talking about kids. He grew up in a family of 2. I grew up in a family of 5 kids. And so he thought the less kids you have, the more money you can spend on them. And so I would like to have less kids so that we can give them a better life. And I thought, well, I loved growing up in a big family because my siblings were my best friends. We were all together all the time. Everything we did was fun because we all had each other. And we didn't have a lot of money growing up, but it didn't super matter because we just wanted to play all day, you know, like whatever.
Yeah.
And now that we have a kid, Mac is like, oh, I see that like the value's not in the money or how much you can spend on the kid. The value is the kid. And so like, yeah. We're not gonna have, we're gonna stop at 2 kids. That's all I will say. But his perspective really changed on like where the value is, which is very sweet.
I was about to tell her why Robert would say that's dumb when the stork paid me a visit. Oh, all right. I'm going to call this child liability. That's one of the, that is like the big takeaway of Rich Dad is the rich buy assets instead of liabilities, but the middle class and the poor buy liabilities that they think are assets. So I just think in the spirit of Rich Dad Poor Dad, since on my financial statement, this child is just a tax on my life. Now, with little liability in my life, I had new purpose, a new reason to get out of the rat race. And I knew, with this new sense of purpose, I was going to find my financial genius and take off into the financial stratosphere.
Uh-oh. Whoopsie doodles.
Oh no.
I lost my job. Man, this economy is rough. Like, people are getting evicted from their homes.
For you?
It was at this point that I was starting to suspect that maybe this game was a teensy bit random.
This is what's funny too, because like, not to like knock how well you're doing, but like, what have you done strategically thus far? Where it's just like, yeah, Ben, you just don't get it, man.
Yeah. I bought
Like,
20 stocks one time, and I probably should have bought 100, but...
Well, and like, you literally started with more money than me. Like, you're an airline pilot.
Hey, I'm a pilot.
Okay, finally.
We are
Okay,
by
all
nature
right.
wealthy people.
Okay for you. Interest rates cripple share price.
After about 2 minutes of me trying and failing to do basic multiplication, I bought shares in OK4U, a decision which finally paid off.
What?
Whoa! Let's go, dude!
How come a minute ago these cost you $5 and now they're costing me $40?
Because you went from interest rates being really high to market strength. So we had a really quick recession, and then we had a boom for some reason.
I had been patient this whole game, and finally, Lady Luck paid me an extra special visit.
Okay, sell this house. Let's go. Oh, okay. You are offered $135,000. Here's what's crazy. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
I'm gonna sell. I now have $104,000.
Oh, wait, what?
Now I'm just gonna pay off.
Everything.
Let's pay off my loans.
Wait.
This game is so swingy. Like,
Yeah.
it is crazy how, like, this is nothing. I went from, like, I cannot afford to buy more than 50 shares in a $5 stock, and I just paid off literally all of my
Wow.
debt. Like,
But
my
do you have a home
expenses are
anymore?
now $650. But I have no passive income, so I'm not out of the rat race yet. I have paid off my
Okay.
home. I've paid off everything. I have $71,000 just sitting in the bank, and the game is like, you're still kind of poor though.
You're not making it.
And then Lady Luck paid Hannah a visit too.
Hold on. Am I offered the same thing? You're offered $135,000.
Oh, I don't know. Do you have a home?
I have.
Oh, you do?
have a
Yeah.
home.
Suddenly, after making an insane deal, the game was way easier.
This is what's kind of insidious about this game, because, like, if you follow Robert's advice, you're probably going to struggle and struggle and struggle, and you're going to, like, get your back up against the wall with debt and all this stuff, or because your business isn't doing well. And you do that in the game. You're, like, stuck on this wheel, and you're, like, struggling, and then, like, something magical happens, and you get an amazing deal, and suddenly everything's way easier because you have money now.
Finally, after hustling and refusing to give in to fear and paying myself first and taking out
Potentially a fart ton.
of debt, it happened.
All right, let's get a big deal, baby.
Oh.
Okay,
We're
whoa. Okay, fourplex, down payment
Cash flow,
$20,000.
$800.
I think this is gonna get me out of the rat race. Okay, let me look, let me check. Yeah, this is gonna get me out of the rat race because my expenses are $650. Okay, so watch what happens
Congrats.
when I get out of the rat race. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
So I did that. So now my passive income is $800, which is more than my total expenses. So I'm going to end my turn. I've made it to the fast track. You gain your beginning cash flow day income of $80,000.
Whoa.
Now I know what you're thinking. So like now, every time I pass payday, I get $80,000.
Oh my
And I know what you're
gosh.
thinking. You're like, wait a second, Ben. You have one. So first of all, like I love this. As soon as you hit the fast track, you don't have a financial sheet anymore. It's like money is meaningless. All it is like hustle and vibes, and like it's just making money. So like how this game works is once you hit the fast track, your passive income goes up 100 times.
Yeah, wow.
And the thing that the rules say is simply that's your buyout. Of what? Like, I bought a fourplex, and then immediately it's like, oh, now I make $80,000 every month because someone bought me out and is now cash flowing $80,000 a month.
I got a lot of catching up to do.
You do. You're still stuck in the rat race,
Bye.
you pleb.
Well, I'm going to take a big deal, obviously.
Yeah, you better.
Oh, look at me. House for sale. Divorce leads to the sale of this home. It's been on the market for 5 months. $20,000? Cash flow 500. Yes. I'm not even going to think about it.
Is that? Oh, you're close, but not quite there.
Yeah, wait.
Okay,
see.
so now you'll notice I'm here now. I'm on the fast track.
Nice.
Which is the majority of the board. I love that, like, if you buy this physically, you spend 95% of the game in this tiny circle, and then you just get to do laps around everyone else.
Yeah, I feel like I'm automatically going to lose because you're already on the fast track.
While I was turning down invites to the Cannes Film Festival, Hannah was out shopping for deals.
Small shopping mall for sale that I can afford.
You could borrow money. You could borrow money.
Borrow money. Look at that possible selling price. Cash flow 800 buckaroonies.
Because if you borrowed 10,000, it would only cost you $1,000 in payments. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this would get you out of the rat race. So you'd basically go into debt for a little bit, buy this shopping mall, and then immediately not be in debt anymore. I think. I don't know. I mean, yeah, doesn't it?
This plan, while brilliant, and probably something Robert would write a chapter about, actually doesn't work because debt adds new expenses.
Except that I just realized.
What?
Because you took out the $10,000 loan, now your expenses are higher.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
I guess that does make sense. Okay, so the game's not 100% insane.
But life isn't all sunshine and rainbows on the fast track either.
What was that?
I just got audited. I did too much tax fraud.
Oh,
whoops.
No, that was so much money.
I know, but I still had $105,000. Whoopsie doopsie.
It was at this point that Hannah started to realize that her mindset was a little, how should we say, poor dad.
Well, it's also funny that it never occurs to me to borrow money to take advantage of a deal.
That's because you have a poor dad mindset.
Yeah, because I'm afraid. I mean, I see where he's coming from.
Also, I just want to point out, once you hit the fast track, you literally can no longer have children.
Oh no.
There's no baby space in the fast track.
Keep me on the slow track.
But things started to look up for Hannah when she hit a lucrative real estate deal. And with that deal, Hannah was finally on the fast track. But I was so far ahead that nothing could possibly stop me from...
Uh-oh!
Oh my gosh.
Lawsuit!
My heart.
I wonder what I did.
Oh my gosh, almost.
What was happening in my dry cleaners that people wanted to sue me?
That question was unimportant, and it would also go unanswered.
What's really funny about this part of the game is there's virtually no more interesting decisions to make. You know, like...
Yeah, it's just...
You're pretty much just cruising around, and you're like, oh, I don't have enough money for that. And, oh, I got divorced.
Yeah, I feel like the game is just trying to reinforce the idea that after a long time of hard, tight decisions on the slow track, one day it'll be as easy as like, oh, $300,000 business for sale? Sure, why
Exactly.
not?
Like, it seems like the primary lesson of the game is, like, the rat race is punishing and the fast track is better, so don't you want to be on the fast track?
Yeah.
Right? Because, like, literally, like, when you spend money here, it's like, even when you divorce, even when you lose all your cash, like, you're gonna get, like, $80,000 a few spaces later, so it doesn't really matter.
Dang, I just realized that I can't have any more kids because I'm so
Man.
successful. Crap.
I'll be honest, as exhilarating as the fast track was, it was starting to wear on me a bit.
Can you imagine playing this for 3 hours? Like, imagine playing this with 5 other people.
Yeah.
Imagine, like, everyone else is on the fast track, and you're the guy who just keeps accidentally trying to have a 4th baby, and you can't, like, the game won't let you.
Turns out that wealth had changed my mindset so much that it was actually starting to impact my memory.
I'm not even a poor dad. I don't even have kids. Wait, do I have kids?
Yeah, you.
I forget.
You forgot about your child?
It's
Liability?
It's
Sweet liability?
Since you can't see your old income sheet, I can't even remember if I have children, which does feel accurate to
That's
some
how
rich
deep
people
you
in
are.
the world. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. No wonder the divorce one is up here, not on the slow track, assuming you come into it. Man.
You can also land on the divorce space multiple times, which suggests like you've... No, wait, did you really?
I think I really did it. I feel bad buying this because that means that I
mean...
Yes.
Hannah has won.
That's it.
That's
the white box.
That was game. But in the spirit of not giving in to fear, I took one more turn.
I landed on divorce. That seems like a fitting end to this game.
Oh, no.
So let's debrief.
Okay.
First of all, congratulations on achieving
Thank
your
you.
dream with your...
I'm pretty pumped about it, actually.
Oh, I did have a kid. My kid was named Liability. Okay,
Yeah.
that's probably one of the reasons I got a divorce. So what did you learn from cash flow that you feel like you'll take into your everyday life?
I don't know, like you were taking out a bunch of loans in order to do more things. I was just using the money I had and trying to not take out loans.
That's true.
Which we both ended up getting to the fast track, but
But I did get there faster.
And once you did, it was like, dude, you were so rich. So
I know.
I was clearly doing something wrong by staying within my means and only taking opportunities when I could afford them. I don't know, but I was happy.
There's a whole... No, listen. But there is literally a section of this book. I think Financial Diet on their podcast on this referenced this. So I'll maybe put that clip in here.
I forgot to read this other quote. If you're the kind of person who has no guts, you just give up every time life pushes you. If you're that kind of person, you'll live all your life playing it safe, doing the right thing, saving yourself for some event that never happens. Then you die a boring old man. You'll have a lot of friends who really like you because you were such a nice, hardworking guy. But the truth is that you let life push you into submission. Deep down, you were terrified of taking risks. You really wanted to win, but the fear of losing was greater than the excitement of winning. Deep inside, you and only you will know that you didn't go for it. You chose to play life safe.
And it's just like so bananas because it's just like... Just saying the quiet part out loud of just like, yeah, you might have a lot of friends and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's dumb. But you don't have enough money. You're still in that rat race.
Well, what I'm thinking now is what would happen if we did play this every month? Like, I feel like, honestly, I would get more strategic in leveraging, like, you know, the debt to take advantage of more opportunities. Like, I would be thinking about money differently. Not necessarily more securely, but in a way that would potentially benefit me a lot.
Yeah.
If everything just happened, if all the cards landed just right.
Well, that's the thing, right? If all the cards landed just right. So, like, it's pertinent to, like, remember, like, this book was written in the 1990s. The fact that he allegedly makes so much money in real estate during a time where, like, the real estate markets were insane, like, says a lot, I think. Because, like, I think if you talk to there's like people on TikTok who are like, yeah, you can buy out 5 duplexes for $3 down and then flip those and make millions of dollars or whatever. But you still have to find those condos. Yeah. And you need people who you need to do that before someone else does. And like if someone else has more money to put down, they're probably going to get the deal instead. So it's like, it is like the playing cards just right. Because like this game would not function. Would absolutely not function if it wasn't a deal every other space.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like the fact that Doodads, there's like, I think like 4 Doodad spaces on the board. It's 1, 2, it's 3. So you have 3 spaces that basically reflect unexpected expenses. And most of the time it's just you being dumb with money because you wanted to take your kids to Disney World like an idiot or something. This game paints a picture of... And this is something he says in the book, like opportunities are everywhere. He tells so many stories of things that I am almost positive never happened. Of him like he tells a story about how like he saw oil prices were going up. And so then he buys a piece of land or like a business and then that business struck oil, which is like, Okay, buy an oil company before it finds oil. That's a great tip. I would take a heartbeat. And also, money isn't real. That's like a whole thing in the book about how like money is an illusion, and so you shouldn't. The problem with poor people is they like think money is real, and rich people know money isn't real, and blah blah blah.
Well, I mean, if you detach the value and the weight from it, yeah, I can imagine you would be able to do a lot more things with it.
Yeah. Well, right. When you're playing a board game, when it's like Monopoly money, it's like, sure, I guess I'll, take out $10,000 of debt to buy a shopping mall.
Yeah.
Like, because liability isn't an actual child that I have to feed, so I'm not really worried about it, like.
That is interesting. Money not being real, that concept. I totally get that and how that would free you up to, like, take way more risks, but at the same time, put a real thing in your life like a child, and you're like forming and shaping their life experiences and their memories and how they view the world. And a lot of that involves like we got to spend a little money to do that. All of a sudden, money feels a lot more real again.
Oh, because even if money isn't real, your life is, right? Yeah. So like your house or your apartment is real. Your need to feed yourself and your children is real. And like, it's so different than like what we talk about, where it's like we are also kind of taking a more like philosophical look at money, where it's like it's not just like this number, it's like your time and your energy. There's none of that in here. It's just like money is a game and you can be good at it, and it's okay to lose because eventually you will hit big. So it's okay if you're like hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, because eventually you'll land on that one big deal that makes you $800,000, and like there you go. Yeah, it's really weird. It's this really weird perception of reality that like, and it's weirdly shaming too, that like actually every other space is an opportunity space. It's just that you're not brave enough or smart enough or observant enough or whatever to be able to see it, because like we both got to the fast track because we both kept trying to take deals,
Yeah, what? So you said this book sold like 32 million copies or something. What do you think is the thing that got it to be so?
I mean, I think some of this is he does tap into a lot of what people feel, which is like, I feel like I'm being exploited by my work. I don't feel like I'm being paid enough. I am afraid of losing my job. I feel like I'm at kind of the whims of the economy and like the way the wind blows. I don't feel like school prepared me to like be a good spender, saver, whatever. So like he's speaking to real things. It's just that his solution, instead of like, hey, maybe societally we should change those things or we should teach these kind of skills, his thing is like, well, just become absurdly rich so that you are not one of the people getting exploited. Because he says a lot of things in this book where you're like, yeah, that's actually really true. And then his solution is like hire a child for 10 cents an hour, or something like that.
Yeah.
It's this idea that like anybody can do this, and like the rich just know something that you don't know. And that's it. So if you knew it, then you could be rich too. There's actually a really great clip from the episode of Oprah he was on where like a guy's like, but if I don't have any money, how do I do that? And I'll probably play that clip here. The response he gives is so nothing.
He's with a lot of people out there who are saying, look, I got the bill collectors calling. I'm scared to answer the phone because I don't have the money. So how am I going to now give myself money first when I got these people knocking down my door?
One thing that Paul said right there, he starts a home-based business. The tax laws are written against, tax laws are not equal. And if you want, what I'm saying is got to get educated here. So the tax laws are not equal. So if you're an employee and you work harder and harder, the government's going to take 50% no matter what. So by being a business owner, which is Paul did, he has tax advantages that the middle class and poor do not have. Just saving money and investing is not enough. There is a complete mindset that goes on. I think that's what these people came.
Paul was saying, because we all have the mentality in this country, you work harder, it will pay off in the end. It does not, because the government always gets theirs.
Right, and then the real estate is the least taxed income you can get. So when my wife and I were struggling, we saved $6,000. We bought that house. Thing went from $46,000 to $105,000. We had $50,000.
That's my idea. I want to buy a 3-flat, live in the basement, rent off the top two apartments,
Good, you're thinking.
Have them pay my mortgage for me. Good. But I still need to come up with the original capital to buy the place.
That starts with paying yourself first.
Hey, Oprah.
His thing is like it's all mindset, you know, because like you can change your mindset to become. That's what the rich have. They have mindset. They don't have generational wealth, or they don't get really lucky, or they don't like have resources you don't have, or whatever. Like they just have a mindset. If you have that mindset, then you can become insanely rich, you know.
Oh, well, I gotta work on my mindset then.
I know, which is interesting because like we also talk about mindset, you know, like spendfulness is this idea of mindset, but we're like dealing on the very nitty gritty of like, how am I actually spending the money that I have?
Yeah.
And like our end goal, our end goal is not like become fabulously wealthy beyond your wildest dreams. Like for some people that might happen, but like honestly, most people don't get fabulously wealthy beyond their wildest dreams because they spent a certain way. They like decide to become an entrepreneur, or they get lucky on an investment, or they take a lot of time investing a lot over a large amount of years. And it is funny. It is like the way you described like the end of the game, where it's like that's it. It's kind of how it feels. It's like, well, what do I get at the end of this? Because like I like at the end of that game, I got sued. I got audited by the government for tax fraud. I got divorced. I have
forgot you had a child.
I couldn't remember my child, and it's like, but I am on the fast track. I am out of the rat race, and it's like cool. But but like, am I aligned with my spending? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and also that every doodad was a liability, even though they are all things that theoretically should be fulfilling, give you memories. Going to a ball game with your son, getting coffee with your friend, like those should be adding value to your life, and instead it was like a penalty. Like you made this choice. Sorry about it.
Everything we talk about at YNAB in this game is condensed into one line that just says other expenses. And like that's true in this book too. This book does not give you a single piece of advice about like making a plan or spending or saving a certain way. It's just all like acquire wealth. And it's just like, but what about like, what do I do with it once I have it? You know, like, or what do I do with the stuff I have now? The idea that once I get super wealthy, then suddenly the numbers don't matter anymore. Like, I don't know. Because I'll just keep landing on cash flow day. I don't know.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy.
So, so what did we learn? We learned it's easy to forget your children when you're rich.
Yeah, I learned have babies now. I mean, I will say it does make me think, like, are there any opportunities that we assume we're, like, exempt from, or, like, oh, we couldn't do that because whatever. I do think my priorities are different right now. Like, as long as we have enough to pay our bills and like give our family like a fulfilling day-to-day life, that is truly my number one goal right now. I mean, it would be cool to have other opportunities and whatnot, but at what other expenses do those come? Like, do I not get to see my husband like nearly as much, or do our kids have to go off to, you know, can I like really take care of them if I'm managing all life? So I don't know. I like still it doesn't feel like this aligns with the season of life that I'm hoping for, but I mean I do see how there might be more opportunities out there than I don't always absorb or like think they could apply to me.
There is something to that. Like there is something valuable in here, which is like maybe it can be helpful to have a mindset of like looking for opportunities instead of just assuming that you're stuck where you're stuck. But also like I think one of the things we talk about with spendfulness is like that's actually really hard to do if you are currently super stressed out about your money. So like let's figure that out. Like let's figure out how you're spending and like what your situation is and everything. And then then you might be in a good place to buy a better book than this and like figure out how to actually like do a side hustle or open a business, like if that's what you want to do, you know, because that's the other thing. It's just like in this book, like if you work for somebody else, you're just a big dum-dum essentially. Like why would you work for somebody else when you could just own 5 condos and have a t-shirt business? And it's like, well, I don't want to do that personally.
I could give you 5 solid reasons why I would work for somebody else.
Yeah, well, it's like so, yeah.
It's like when you think about like buying a house versus renting. Buying a house always seems like, oh, that's so amazing. But then you forget when you rent and your washing machine breaks down, someone else is repairing it, someone else is buying you a new one. If there's issues in the neighborhood, someone else is dealing with it, someone's shoveling your sidewalk. Like there are so many perks that now as a homeowner you just have to take on.
Right.
It's just, I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's like you should start your own business and being an employee is dumb, but there's like no talk about like healthcare. Where it's like, okay, so now you pay for all your health care. Like, your expenses have just drastically changed, you know? Like,
for real.
Well, I think we learned a lot. I think same time next month. Except
all right.
I will
bring the spouses in.
Yeah, I will have invested in 4 condos, and we will write those on the game cards and see if we can get out of the rat race. So I can have the dinner of a lifetime with the 3 people I want to have dinner with.
Imagine that's your life goal is to just have dinner with
just
like,
to have dinner with with like Patrick Dempsey. Thanks for playing, and thank you folks for watching. I think you know what, Robert Kiyosaki may not agree with me, but I think you're already a rich dad.
Oh.
Bye.